Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Dutchin channel. It's the results show for Monday, the 25th of March 2024. We're just approaching 8:45 in the evening, and we're going to run through today's racing from Huntingdon, Exeter, and Newcastle. Well, starting off with our spreadsheet there, you can see in the right hand corner, we've ended that loss from yesterday with a profit today of £160.69. But we didn't have it all our own way. Huntingdon was not good for us. That started off badly, and a loss there tonight of £66.68 didn't start us off too well, with only two winners out of the six there and a little bit back on one of the others. And Exeter, well, if we'd have just done Exeter today, we'd have made a profit of £17.86. Again, we had six races there. We won two right out and then another one, and that was about it really. But the money was at Newcastle tonight. So you look back to yesterday and you think, oh, it was the flat that cost us yesterday, but the flat got us the money back tonight. This was the Newcastle meeting where we had 8 bets and we had 4 straight winners. And we had another one that was £92.71 and another one where we just got a little bit back. But we were lucky there tonight, and that brought us in a profit of £209.51 there. So yeah, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 winners we had, and the 92.71 was nearly 6 winners out of the 8 races. So those of you who are thinking about learning how to Dutch, it's definitely a better way to save your money in a way than lose it all with just backing one selection. But we'll go through today's racing and we'll see in the first race at Huntingdon, the 205. We backed the first 3 and it was the 4th one that came through. Really testing goings today at these tracks over these sticks, but that wasn't one for us. Then in the second race, the 235 Lightning Marler, that one really as you liked. We did have the forecast there, but again, it was a very well. So it was a short price. It was just under 6-4, but it was a winner on the board at Huntingdon. Then we had 5 runners went to post in the 305. I did fancy the first selection that I gave there really today, but that ended up third, and the other one was pulled up, and Jack Spratt came through and won it. But it was a tough race really. Then in the 335 Calvic, this went off favourite. I did have it as my 4th selection, so there was a little bit of money to draw back on it. And we didn't have the second, so I couldn't even say I was unlucky in it really. Then the 405, I was going quite well in this race, and I thought, well, maybe I'm going to get the winner. Paddy and the Caddy came through, and this to me was a horse that I could never have backed. Didn't have the second either. Managed to get the third, get away with you, but that was about the closest there. Then in the 435, Samuel Spade. Must have been 1,000-to-1 in trading, in running, I would have thought, because it was tailed off and whipping it coming round towards the home straight. You'd have to watch that race. I don't even know how it got up to win it, but it did, and that got us another win at Huntingdon on the board, which we badly needed at the end. And then Exeter 220, Joe Cotton. This went off favourite. I didn't have it. It was tough there. I did have the second, but it was never going to get to Joe Cotton. He was away and gone. Then in the 250, our top selection was an on-runner, so it was fortunate it left Foxy. And again, this one won as it liked, but again, the price was just under 6-4, but it was a full win. Then in the 320, this was a nice outsider. I thought the favourite was going to come through and pinch it, but Jupiter Allen was game, and at 14.9 it came through Julie and won it. So there was only 2 horses left in the race, everything else was pulled up. But it came through and won really well, and as I say, that was one of the outsiders. Then in the 350 Classic Maestro, just another day at the office for that one really, but 1.63, all the stake was on it. It wasn't full money back, but it was another winner. Then into the 420, this really on paper was a 2-horse race, but I did fancy out of the 2 Gingerbread against Bampton Star, but Bampton Star Julie won it easily really. Gingerbread, I was quite disappointed in the running of that, but it was second, but it got beat 8 lengths. And then in the 450 at Exeter, again, it's one of them 5-horse races, tactical. The Wolf, which was one of my best bets of the day today, but I never do singles anyway. But I really fancied it. And at one point, it was trading at 1.37, I think it was, and you would have thought, oh, I could have hit the button if I'd have done it on a single, because it did go off at 2.78, and I was a bit worried when it went off at that big. But even the other sort of joint favourite, or one that just went off favourite, run badly as well, and Drop Flight came through and won it, and 11.5, but it was a bad race really. Then we went into Newcastle. Thanks for the person who said down to me and bring back memories. That was nice to get a message on that one. Yeah, I felt sorry for Bobby Shaft though, but these horses, they seem to run week after week after week, and it broke down, and I don't really know what happened to it, Bobby Shaft though, but that took all away from the winner, you know. But bring back memories, we had the second as well, but that went off at favourite. But this Julie won quite easily. Then into the 5 o'clock, I thought, oh, here we go. I mean, this went off less than 6-4. I've got it to finish last, and it won. So it was a little bit of a head scratcher for me. But the top selection there went off at 24.1, and it did manage to come second. So I was happier for that, really. But yeah, it just makes me wonder how these horses go down to these short prices when I give them to come last. Then it was time for a good run. It was in the 5:30. Then we had Asgard's Captain, but of course at nearly even money, 2.04. I was expecting really, and that Julie won easily. Then the 6 o'clock was our no betting race. Every horse in that hadn't run before, and a big outsider won that anyway. Then into the 6:30, Palace Lord. Even though I'd given this to win second selection there, I thought some of these horses are running too much, and I thought it's mostly exposed and wasn't going to win, but it did. Only in a photo, mind you, but it still got up. That must have been a short head, that one. Then into the 7 o'clock, this one came through late as well between horses, and you would have had the straight forecast here. I had Rat of Fear to beat Water of Leith, but again it was a nice winner for us. It was full money back on that one. Then into the 7:30, I didn't think Stallone had won, and then they slowed it down. You watched it, and just at the line, Stallone had its nose in front, but I really thought that Rockley Point had got up at 40.5. But Stallone, yeah, that was a 10.2 on the exchange, and that was a nice winner for us as well. Another top selection. Then in the 8 o'clock, I had 4 here, but it was always going to be the full selection I had was the one that came in where there's no money on it, so that was a losing race and a little bit back. But my top selection, Absolute Dream, dead heated for second. That was the one I wanted really, but again, I'm not going to grumble. And then in the last race, the favourite, Catherine Shroy, just annihilated them really, won that as it liked. There was never a problem in behind. So yeah, getting some of our money back from yesterday, because I think it was 196.09 yesterday. So to come back with a win of 160.69, I'm really happy with that. So let's hope we can get another winning day tomorrow. I've already put the selections up for tomorrow, and starting from tomorrow, I've put up Dundalk. So I'm going to perhaps add some Irish racing in. And the reason for that was when we had the heavy loss yesterday, there was only 2 meetings. And of course, if you go down in one, you've got to go up in the other. If you just look at Huntingdon today and Exeter, if that's all we had, then we would have done our money at Huntingdon and would have had to have had at least another 2 winners at Exeter to have wiped everything out. And I don't think it's enough racing in just 2 meetings. I think you need at least 3 or 4 on a daily basis. So tomorrow I've added the Dundalk card in. I've already posted it for tonight, so you can look at the selections there. But they do like a lot of runners in Ireland. That's the only reason I don't do it, is because of the time it takes to do the card. I mean, today I was lucky. There was a couple of races in there where there's some horses that hadn't run before. But otherwise, it still took me 2 hours to do the card. So it takes a lot out of my day just to do 8 races, and they've got 17 runners in each. The maximum in Dundalk is 14 runners, but they add on 3 reserves. So overnight, they can get in if there's some non-runners. So we'll have a look at the Matchbook Exchange tomorrow morning with the meetings that are on tomorrow. But otherwise, yeah, it's been an okay day today. I'm happy with the way it went. And yeah, so we'll see what happens tomorrow. But going into the profit and loss sheet quickly, I've added that one in, and you can see we've now hit 20 days. And in 20 days, we've managed to have 378 bets, which is 18,900 in stakes. Now, if you are doing these kind of stakes on Matchbook or Smarkets or Betfair, the bookie won't contact you or say, we need some details from you and everything else. It's all about how much you put in the bank. So at the start, I normally put £200 in, and then if I survive with that £200, I don't put any more. And then always make sure, if you do get some profits, that you take everything out and just leave your £200 stake, because at some point, if they're going to tell you they need your details, then they could hold your funds, what you got in there. So just make sure you draw out and draw out and draw out, but just always leave the 200. So yeah, because 18,900 sounds a hell of a lot of money in 20 days, which we know it is, but we wouldn't be laying out 18,900 if everyone was losing, because we wouldn't have 19,000 to do it. And the money that has come back in that period is £21,282.45. And again, it would be lovely if that was ours to draw out, but it isn't. But we do have a profit now of £2,382.45 in those 20 days. So I'm really happy with that, because what I try to look for per day is £100. But that's not on a daily basis, that's over a period. You know, you can't just look at that, and we looked at yesterday and lost nearly £200. You can't just say, well, you told us you could win £100 a day. I've proved it. There's more than £100 there per day. But it's not on a daily basis, it's on an average. And my average is over a 3-month period. But this just goes to show you that coming towards the end of this first month, that we have got a profit, and we've only been going since the 6th. Everything's been proved on YouTube, so everybody can see the selections that are given. way in advance. And as I say, if anyone wants to join up, then you can contact me. There's an email on the bottom of some of these pages. And otherwise, we'll be back for the morning show, and that will be between 9 and 10 tomorrow. And we will update everything with the non-runners and what's going to post. So sleep well, and we'll catch up again tomorrow.